In celebration of spooky season, I will be talking about the scariest moments in my life while making pumpkin bread. Oh my, that is messy.
I actually thought that I was going to die.
And this may come as a shock to absolutely none of you, but Halloween is my least favorite holiday. Hi everyone, thank you so much for making it back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. Today's video is going to be on the scariest moments in my entire life. Self-reflection is part of good mental health, so I thought I'd reflect on some things that have scared me throughout my lifetime. Also, I have a new schedule now here on YouTube. I'll be uploading on Tuesdays and Saturdays, so be aware for that. Make sure you turn on the notifications and are subscribed to the channel. Don't get me wrong, I love fall and autumn and I love the festive theme, but Halloween itself is so scary. The idea of centering around scaring people is what makes it terrible for me. No thank you. Target bargains are my idea of a thrill, okay? That's where I draw the line. To go into, I guess, maybe one of the reasons why I hate scary things is partially because I was very sheltered and not even allowed to watch anything scary. But I think the second part and most important part of that is even when I watch scary movies, I have serious, realistic nightmares. I don't know if anyone else is like me in that sense. I saw one scary movie this month and I woke up to 3 different nightmares. And it wasn't even a classified scary movie at that. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of where I'm at. Anyways, the idea for this video stemmed from the fact that I just wanted to make pumpkin bread, but I thought this would be a good excuse to do it. I didn't just want to do a basic cooking video. Instead, I thought I'd make it into a little story time in line with the holiday season. So it's gonna be just that. And we'll also be going into my top 3 scariest moments in my lifetime. I'm so excited to get started. This is all our ingredients. Okay, so in this bowl, I've already combined my dry ingredients. This is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder. I used allspice, but it actually says 1 teaspoon of cloves, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So I actually just used this allspice pumpkin thing, which is supposed to be a mix of all 3. So I did that, because who got time to buy that many ingredients? Next, we have 1 can, basically, of pumpkin. Then I've got 2 whole cups of sugar. That is a ton of sugar. 2 eggs. And then I've got my pan, my loaf bread pan that I already put some butter on and then sprinkled a little bit of flour on top. Lastly, can't forget the butter. This is 1.5 sticks of butter, and that's all the ingredients together. Okay, so I just realized that I don't have an actual mixing bowl. The biggest pan that I have in my kitchen is what I'm going to be using to mix everything in. We really do be resourceful though. So I'm gonna get started. Pretty much what I'm going to do first is I'm gonna combine the butter and the sugar together. And while I do that, I'm gonna tell you about my first scariest moment. How scared you are is relative to how old you are, right? So I'm gonna go back to my first scariest moment. When I was 13 years old, my favorite cousin in the whole world, she lived with me. And we lived in it was a 3-bedroom house, so it was pretty big and it was 2 stories. I don't know who started it first, but we got into a cadence that we were always pranking each other. Throughout the house, always pranking each other. We would try to find places throughout the house to hide and then scare each other. So imagine, you know, you're just cleaning the dishes, you're just walking over to the bathroom and someone just pops out at you. So that's what we would do back and forth. We were always scaring each other throughout the house. So actually, what she decided to do to me is scare me big time. She had my mom in on the situation. She and my mom are upstairs. My mom calls me down. It's like, Sam, come upstairs, I need you for something. So, you know, here I am. I go upstairs, not thinking much of it. Finally, I'm about to walk into my mom's room. She jumps out from behind the door. I kid you not, I jumped 2 feet in the air. I cannot believe my mom would do that. I give it to my cousin and my mom for giving me the first scariest moment when I was 13 years old that I still remember to this day as being completely traumatizing. It be the ones closest to you, it really do. I'm gonna use my mixer for a little bit because I think it needs to be more blended than this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yo, tell me why this looks like mashed potatoes. Okay, now I'm gonna add each of these eggs in as I tell you about my second scariest moment. So when I was in college, I was trying to make an extra buck, and I was looking into ways that you could make easy cash, right? And it turns out donating plasma is a really fast way to make cash. I think it was between $50 to $100 for each time that you donated, and I think you could go twice a month. So I was like, okay, I want to start doing this to go get, some extra cash on the side. As a college kid, I thought might as well, why not? And I don't know if you guys know what donating plasma is, but I'm gonna go into that right after I beat this one egg. The recipe says to beat both of these eggs separately until they're combined, so I just did one, I'm gonna do the next one. If you don't know what it means to donate plasma, it's very similar to the process of donating blood. They put a needle into your arm and they extract your blood out. The difference is the process that you have to go through to prove that your blood is healthy and safe and your plasma is fine for contributing, for donating. The process of pulling out the plasma, I'm not gonna get too scientific here, but it is the process of taking the blood out of you, separating that blood and giving it back. But where I screwed up was I didn't eat before I went to go do this. All right, I went really early in the morning. I think I was actually going to reward myself for going to donate plasma by going to eat afterwards. But I didn't realize how long the process would be to get all the tests done. Not to mention I went with a friend at the same time who was gonna start doing it with me. So we had to wait double the length of time for both of us to be able to go, sign up, get our test done, get the results, to get to the point where we were actually seated and ready to go. So that whole process took about 3 hours. Point is, your girl was feeling a little fainty. All right, let me tell you, I wasn't feeling good. I hadn't eaten anything, really, and I didn't know that that was a major factor. Anyways, let me finish this next egg and I'll tell you what happened next. I don't even know what this is looking like anymore. Ooh, it's like gooey, it's like slime. So what happened after that wasn't very fun. They put the needle on, and I'm okay with needles, I don't really mind that part. There's like 4 whole rows of people in a line. You're not in one room by yourself. You're in an open space with a ton of other people all plugged in because the process takes a while. So the guy, he hooks me up. He's like, are you doing all right? I'm like, yeah. He leaves me there. Things are going okay. Blood's like starts oozing out. Plasma looks really weird. It's a really weird color. I'll actually include a picture of it here if you want to see what that looks like. But anyways, so plasma comes out, and then 10 minutes go by and I start feeling very, very not good. I start feeling really cold. I couldn't move my fingers. I was trying to move my toes, and I was like, do I even have a big toe? It felt really crazy. And so I started freaking out, and so I was trying to get someone's attention, and let me say, I actually thought that I was going to die. It was scary. And every time I think back on that moment, I don't know why, but the idea of Twilight comes to my head. Spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen Twilight yet. It's 2020, but anyways. But if you haven't seen Twilight, there's a moment where I just think back to that specific scene when I think of my experience and what it felt like. So finally I got someone's attention. I think I was trying to tell them, I think I said something like, I can't, I can't. They took everything off of me. I felt like I was gonna faint, and then they asked the question,
have you eaten anything?
And I was like, no. And that's exactly the reason why I was falling into this fainting spell, because I hadn't eaten any. It was a really scary experience. Needless to say, I never went back to donate plasma again, even though I know exactly the reason why. It's still a very safe process. If you guys want to do it, I would encourage you, but after that experience, I just don't want to do it again. I did get my money though. I think they just gave me the money out of pity, but whatever, cha-ching. I went home with some money in my pocket. Never want that experience ever again. And that was my second scariest moment. So now back to baking. So now I'm gonna start slowly beating in the pumpkin into this mixture, and then we'll go on to the flour. I realized I haven't tried pumpkin in forever. Is it sweet? Is pumpkin sweet by itself? Okay, it's not sweet, but I'm having flashbacks to baby food. I don't know what I was expecting. All right, now before I put this pumpkin bread in, I'm gonna go ahead and start. My all-time scariest moment happened last year in December when I went to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. And I hopped on the largest roller coaster I have ever been on. Now, I thought I was gonna die with my second scariest moment of all time. I thought I was dead for these solid 2 minutes on this roller coaster ride. 2 separate minutes, by the way. I'll tell you why. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's ride the largest roller coaster there is here. Like, let's just go. Like, let's just do it. I don't know why we were just ballsy enough to do it. I think it was only our 3rd roller coaster while we were there. For those of you that don't know, this roller coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas is called the Iron Rattler. Someone died on this ride apparently. I'm not sure what the year is, but later on, after I rode that ride, I came home and searched it up, realized they had originally changed the name from Rattler because the entire roller coaster was made of wood, and renamed it the Iron Rattler, add some iron railing to it. And there is, in its history, a death that happened on this roller coaster. And let me tell you guys how this is looking so far. It's pretty much ready to go into my pan. I've got all the ingredients combined. It should be ready to go now. And we get to the finale of my story. But let me tell you, this Iron Rattler was like nothing else I had ever been on in my entire life. Here's what I want to just... Here's what I want to describe to you guys the most, was the drop, okay? That drop, it wasn't a straight down drop. You know how drops are like angled on roller coasters, right? Like this. No, not this. This roller coaster did a whole, you know, I'm gonna draw it for you in the corner. It did a whole, like that is what it felt like. But when I finally get on the roller coaster, I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm already on this roller coaster. There's a 6-year-old kid 2 lanes in front of me. There's nothing to be scared of, right? Oh, here we go. Anyways, so that drop was like, finally get to the top. It's like, I'm looking down. There's no train track. So I'm super terrified. Didn't realize what I was getting myself into. By the time we start the fall, flying out of my seat for like 2 whole minutes, I could not breathe. I think I was so shocked at the view that by the time we started falling, I couldn't feel my stomach. I couldn't feel any of my organs. I felt like it was like an out-of-body experience. It was so terrifying. So finally we get past that, and then the ride's fine. It's actually pretty fun after that. There's a lot of speed to it and it's really fun. But the next second scariest thing was, tell me how it was close to the very end of the ride. This dude in the very front of the roller coaster, his phone flies out of his pocket. You're on a roller coaster speeding God knows how fast, and a cell phone comes flying towards you. We all duck at the same time. Couldn't a cell phone coming at your head like that on the speeding roller coaster kill you or something? It could definitely blind you, that's for sure. Finally get to the end of this ride, and then we hear someone in the back scream, I caught it! And they had actually caught it, and everyone on the roller coaster actually celebrated and started clapping. So I guess it kind of ended as a happy story, but there were 2 very, very scary, what I thought were kind of near-death experiences that I definitely don't want to experience again. But it was extremely scary, and up to this point, the scariest moment I've ever experienced. The worst roller coaster I have ever been on. And with that, we are finally done with our pumpkin bread. This is what it looks like, and it's ready to go into the oven. I just kind of smoothed it down a little bit. It's going in the oven for 350 degrees for about an hour.
She is done. Sparkle, sparkle.
See you in an hour. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed this cooking / sit down story time. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the stories. Please subscribe to the channel for more spooky season, fall, holiday content. And comment down below the scariest theme park ride that you have ever ridden. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.